I think that Kirk Cousins was a problem for the Vikings in 2018-2019. I think that he turned things around by week 2020 and has played some of the best ball of his career. And yes, his contract was sinking the Vikings rooster for the first couple seasons. Last couple years it got manageable, and the Vikings' tenuous financial situation this offseason, Kirk Cousins' contract is going to play a big role. But I think the first year under Kevin O'Connell, him and Justin Jefferson transformed this offense, and I think that they could and should run it back with Kirk in 2023. I think Kirk gives the Vikings the best chance to do something in this upcoming season, and I would have been fine extending Kirk Cousins to a one-year deal, kick the can down the road through 2024, but looks like that is off the table. Like we talked about earlier, Tom Pelissero reporting that a one-year deal probably not going to happen, so it's a binary long-term extension or let 2023 play out. And with Kirk's current deal, $30 million fully guaranteed, $10 million base, $20 million rooster bonus, and I actually think that it makes sense for the Vikings to let this thing play out. Like, I'm not really looking for Kirk Cousins' long-term extension right now. Kirk Cousins does have a lot of leverage in this spot, so the Vikings will be paying through the nose. And as of right now, I don't think that's a smart issue. I don't think that's a smart way to go, and I think it would make a lot more sense for Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell to wait and see what happens in 2023 and also wait and see what happens in the upcoming draft. And Kirk... just when we thought we'd have another offseason free of Kirk Cousins' contract controversy, not so much. But reasons why no long-term deal for Kirk. Number one, he does turn 35 in August, and knock on wood, he's not showing signs of age. He's been extremely durable throughout his career, but everyone's durable until they're not. Everyone doesn't show signs of aging until they do. All right, and Kirk, respect. He's that guy. Last year he played phenomenal. This year I'm sure that he'll play well, but will he be that guy when he's 37? Will he be that guy when he's 38? Is he worth bringing aboard a 3-4 year long-term extension? Because it's not going to be a toilet paper deal where it's a 1 year extension disguised with toilet paper as a 4 or 5 year deal. It's not going to happen. So if Kirk gets a 2, 3, 4 year extension, it's going to have heavy guaranteed money that's going to weigh on the Vikings cap. And it's going to be at market value. It's not going to be the discount rate, which he got last year, the 1 year, $35 million deal. That's going to be out the window. So we're going to be talking about $42 million per season. And, with Kirk's age being a variable at this point, does that make sense? Also, the Vikings need a long-term succession plan because Kirk is not going to be the long-term guy. And what is really important for the Vikings this offseason is keeping Justin Jefferson happy and inking him up long-term. So having a quarterback of the future plan where Justin Jefferson can get on board and having a guy who's going to lead this team down the line, yes, that makes a ton of sense this offseason. Also, Kirk Cousins and his agent, the leverage could be forcing the Vikings' hand, where they have to make a decision with Kirk this offseason. Maybe they do end up trading him. Maybe they do let this thing play out, but draft a quarterback and make a move and give up future picks to go get their quarterback of the future. And lastly, Kirk is not the long-term answer. Like we said, turns 35 in August. Is he going to be the guy 4 or 5 years from now? Probably not, even though, Tom Brady was an anomaly and played until he was 45. I don't necessarily see that with Kirk. And as of right now, even though two things can be true at once. Love and respect what Kirk did in 2022. I think it was the best season of his career. I would have been perfectly fine with a 1 year extension. I'm not fine with a 2, 3, 4 year extension because of all the variables that Kirk Cousins currently has. And if it comes down to it, the Vikings do need to make a move for a quarterback of the future, and that would potentially include moving into the top 10. And this has been done before. Look at the Chiefs when they had Alex Smith, but they made a move up to number 10 to go get Patrick Mahomes. Now, they may have to move up pretty far for a guy like Stroud or Levis or Richardson, and they may have to move all the way up if they want a guy like Bryce Young. But at a certain point, Kirk may be forcing their hand. And Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell, I'm sure they want their own quarterback of the future. They tried things out with Kellen Mond last year, 3rd round pick in 2021, did not work out. Or maneuvering in the second round and securing a guy like Hendon Hooker or securing a guy like Tanner McKee, whatever. A player who can sit behind Kirk for 2023 and then potentially take over the reins in 2024. But like I said, just because the Vikings don't sign him to a long-term extension doesn't mean that it completely closes the door. Maybe the Vikings don't get their guy in the draft, or maybe Kirk completely blows the doors off the roof in 2023, and then the Vikings decide to extend him next offseason, which is viable. We're potentially using the franchise tag on him since Kirk has already had the tag used on him twice. That is not viable. So I think that Kirk potentially using his leverage in the spot leaves everything open. Number one, the Vikings could and should be looking for the quarterback of the future in the draft, especially this year, maybe next year, and also the year after that. I'm a big draft a quarterback at minimum every other year, because even if you have that guy, you always want to be looking for the next guy, or reopen some trade options with Kirk. The Jets wanted him back in the day in 2018. Joe Douglas was a GM at the time, and is still all up in there. Or of course, Kirk Cousins with Shanahan and the Niners. I mean, what happens with Brock Purdy and his UCL? What about Trey Lance? What's going on there? Or I mean, this all ends up with the Vikings going after Lamar Jackson, doesn't it? Doesn't it? But like I said, big fan of Kirk Cousins right now. Respect what he did in 2022. I'm not about a long-term deal. No. Like, one-year deal, yes. Letting it play out, yes. And also seeking out the quarterback of the future, sure. But, 2, 3, 4-year contract, not right now. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings should not extend Kirk Cousins long-term. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.